Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Magandang gabi po sa lahat. Welcome again to another edition of Martes Class. This is the place where we break down our corporate armor and, emphasize more of the persons and the people behind the everyday work that needs to be done in terms of not only security, of course, in IT as well, and its most aspects of technology. So it's going to be a very special evening. We have our esteemed guests, no, and it's going to be a frank conversation about things that as the title implies, that things left unsaid. So we have a lot of questions to our superiors, to our peers, to management, and then but rarely these questions don't get unanswered, or usually we just keep to ourselves and let it unravel after a long period of time, or we just go with it, and some get answers, some don't, and we'd like the audience, the people, you, to know what these questions are. And like what I said in our post before, mas maganda yata kung may HR dito so that they can get tips, no? Hindi para magsubo, but to get tips on what actually the people are feeling or are thinking about in the course of their everyday work. So allow me to introduce my guests. But first of all, I'd like to thank Gary Escobar for helping me out tonight, my technical director. Para makita niyo po si Gary. Thank you, Gary. Okay. And moving on with our guests, of course, when the Chief Information Security Officers, pag umattend po kami ng event, no, usually nakikita-kita kami, and then, maraming kwentuhan. And then there's also instances, I would say a lot of instances, where the same faces comes up or speaks or moderates or part of a panel in these information security seminars and events, and we call ourselves the usual suspects. No, so one of my friends and usual suspects, he used to be a CISO from one bank, and he just transitioned into another bank. I know he is very busy. Kakalipat niya lang, tapos bawal na ang SMS this coming month. So I'm sure he is preparing for a lot of things. But nevertheless, again, very, very thankful that he obliged to be our guest for tonight. So our first guest is the CISO. I'll let him introduce himself if he wants to, or which company. But good friend Carlos Tenkiat. Carlos, good evening. Thank you.
Sawa na kayo sa akin siguro. Events.
Sawa na sila sa atin, di ba?
Di ba? Anyway, yeah, same role. New place.
So,
New place.
okay. Yeah. Ano ba tawag doon? Same shit, different doghouse. Sorry, sorry.
Different color.
Different color.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carlos. Thank you. And some of other usual suspects, sabi niya, okay lang kami. Sabi ko, easy lang kayo. Next tayo. Baka kasi pag sabay-sabay tayong nandun sa screen, sabihin ng mga tao, kayo na naman. So anyway, thank you, Carlos. And on to our next guest. No, he's not a CISO, but he's definitely someone that we need to hear of. The show. No, it's not a show. The project, Martes Class Project, is not just about executives, CISOs, etc. But we also want to get the feel, no, kung ano yung what's the situation in the I wouldn't say down there. I don't want to demean, but the situation of the people that are working under the hood, who does the dirty job, often unheralded, often burned out. Ito yung mga kinukulit namin ni Carlos na tapos na ba? Anong nangyari? So we also want them to have their say and figure out their view on the on the corporate ecosystem or the company ecosystem and what they're doing. So I have here a digital forensics and incident response manager. Please welcome Kerr Ang. Kerr. Good evening, Kerr.
Hello. Good evening sa inyo. Hopefully, nasa mabuti kayong lahat.
Alam niyo ho, marami akong trinay na invite na na working, the professional working people, pero si Ker lang po pinakamatapang. Eh. So, so kudos to Ker. Hopefully, we'll have some honest responses or honest questions that hopefully both Carlos and I can answer. Or if not, babato namin sa taas and make sure that it gets answered. Okay.
Hopefully,
So, yeah.
hopefully inspiring as well yung mga mapupulot masasabi ko dito.
Yeah, I have no doubt. Kerry's been a solid, how do you call this, supporter of our goals when we were working together. I was a CISO and he was all out. I cannot say anything lesser than what he has done. So, sige. So, bago tayo pumunta doon sa malalim na questions, before we get into the deep questions and our topic, we have a segment called Boot Up. No? So, Boot Up, that's our initial segment. And for Boot Up, we want to break the corporate armor, make it more human. Warm the room muna nga, ika nga. No? Parang painit muna tayo before we talk shop. So, we're initializing the guests, Ker and Carlos. For this moment, no corporate bios is allowed. So we'd like to know more about the person. Let's start with Ker. Ker, if you're not the DFIR manager, what are you?
I have many aspirations before. Dati gusto ko magtrabaho as NGO. I also want to be a mechanical engineer. Pero if ever hindi talaga ako nag-cybersecurity, probably nasa role ako ng any service. Could possibly be sa restaurant. Basta more on service-oriented. On those things. On those line of things. Lines of work.
That's very interested in revealing. Ngayon ko lang nalaman sa'yo about that. So you really like providing service, di ba?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, malaki yung contribution dyan because of when I worked with Trend Micro. Doon yata nakon yung service. But before that, ang pinaka-interest ko talaga din is magbuo. Yung mga magbuting-ting at magbuo ng mga bagay-bagay.
Great to know. Yeah, dumaan din tayo kami sa stage na yun. Unfortunately, yung binuting-ting namin, hindi na namin mabalik. No? But you're fortunate, Ker, kasi, we live in an age where, Legos are not just blocks, but also engineering marvels. So, hopefully, ang kulang na lang kung kikita tayo ng malaki para bumili ng magagandang Lego. But, that's a different story for a different day. So, that's Ker Ang for you. Eto, madalas ko kasama pero hindi kami nakapagkaroon ng deep dive conversation. Usually, palaging trabaho. Probably because, puro problema kasi yung usapan namin. But I'd like to give this time to Carlos to tell us, Carlos, if you're not the CISO, who are you?
Me? Malamang alipin ng mga anak ko. The usual.
Okay na yung trabaho na yan. Magandang trabaho
yes.
yun.
But I guess I still like before because at the beginning I actually taught in schools because I'd like to at least mold people and it's a form of generational impact you have. Let's say you teach your students well, they do well, and even their kids get to benefit from that, which will probably be another generation. You affect 3 generations when you teach. So yeah, I guess I'd probably be teaching.
Yes. Well, that's good to know. I don't know if I'll go back. Truth be told, I did thought I had my teaching stage in Amba Computer College. Estudyante ko yata si Gary or estudyante ng misis ko si Gary. I told you not to play with the sound effects. Anyway, well, it was a. You're absolutely right. It's not that rewarding, pero there's no substitute for the feeling kapag you see them learning and especially after pag nag-graduate na sila and you see them with nice jobs, good future. It really yeah, it's very 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 fulfilling. Thank you, Carlos. Okay. So, guys, are you ready for runtime? Ready ka na sa mga top questions? Care, chime in anytime you want. We'll also be monitoring our comment section. Tignan natin kung mga questions. So all those guys out there listening in, watching, feel free to put in the comment section, what you want to ask Carlos, what you want to ask Kerr. Nakikita po namin yon, and then if it's passes Gary's scrutiny to have it on air and ask the questions, then we will do it. Pwede rin daw shout out, sabi niya. Uy, Mike Nuez, Rainy Martes. Thank you, Mike. Yun. So, okay. So, medyo serious mode na tayo. So, we call our next segment yung runtime. So, runtime segment is where we talk about the topics, surface the unencrypted truth. Ika nga, you guys are going to talk. I'm just going to be the, how do you call it? The social lubricant that binds it all together. Yes, you can steal the term because I also stole that term from someone. And let's start. Okay. Ito is, we'll start with a very hot questions. No? So the first topic or the first set of questions that I gathered from people, I took questions from everyone I know and who submitted is medyo touchy to. Pay, value, and compensation. Mahirap ka question. So the goal is to analyze the real frustrations behind pay disparity. We all know that organizations get consultants, sometimes foreigners, right? And the usual question with people is that why do expats earn significantly more than Filipino defenders, whereas we're doing the same work and under heavier pressure? I tried percolating it in my head, but I guess I have some thoughts, but I'd like to get your thoughts first, Carlos.
Well, it's perception. I guess it's been something that we've inherited for a long time. Everything
Agree.
that's abroad seems better. It looks greener, but it's not. It's just the same. I mean, this is where the great, where parity comes in. Knowledge is not an exclusive domain of a particular country. We've seen that in China and US. So I guess we should have a fundamental rethinking of what is of value.
That's true. So you're saying it's still the same old colonial mentality that's prevailing.
It's still there. I mean, you use Microsoft Windows, right? There's no Philippine Windows. Bintana. So we
That's
think
true. That's
because
true.
they made it, it's their domain. Kaya siyempre
Mhm.
naisip mo yung ganun minsan.
That's true. That is very, very true. I guess we probably need a better level of understanding or a better method of measuring diba, capability. I know, like, for example, in government, if you want to be a consultant, dapat HTC ka, highly technical consultant. And they have rigid okay. And they have rigid requirements na they cannot find elsewhere within the institution to make you qualify. I guess that should be what. Care, can you chime in on this? Can you relate on this topic?
Probably one thing also is missing on our part, probably also as a culture, is we tend to shy off to market what we know and what we have. Western, and I think even some Asian countries who are very known to be consultants, they really push what they can do, uh, despite yung capabilities natin would be actual capabilities natin ay mas mataas pa actually. I think that's one thing that we all have to recognize now. We have to sell and market ourselves as well.
Care actually, that's one of the things we notice. I'm sure Carlos notices this, di ba? Bawat galaw, may email, di ba? May announcement, na-accomplish ko to. Pero kasi, not that it's our fault, pero mahihain kasi tayo di ba? We prefer to work in the background I know Care can relate to this There was an instance where, if you're trying to promote someone, yung tanong sa akin was, di naman namin kilala yan we don't know that guy. Why should we promote him? And I know it's against you don't really have to know him. You have to know just what his output and contribution is. But I guess that's the reality, right, Carlos?
Yeah, and the people like to talk about skills, but it's not just about skills. It's about foresight, which is something you cannot measure, because your experience with the organization allows you to see what are the roadmap and future directions of the organization. That has no measure even done yet. Nobody has it. Even AI, wala rin yan. AI can only just do what you command it. But seeing what's the future and what's the next step, that's totally a different ballgame.
So we need some foresight on it. And I guess medyo, I don't know, should we be like them, or should we headline all our accomplishments? I only took my lunch break in 30 minutes or something. I don't know. I guess in a nutshell, the visibility, Care,
Optics. I think I learned it. The word I learned from you, Sir Abit, is optics. Yes.
That was an internal term, actually. But it's true. Di ba, Carlos, right?
Well, no news is good news, especially in my field.
Yes. In our field in InfoSec, yes. True.
Yes. So
but that's
why you
the
don't
reality.
brag about no news, di ba? How do you brag? Nothing happened.
Kasi when you brag, nothing happened, the more the attackers would... your attack surface suddenly, becomes larger because, wala ka palang event,
With IT support, diba? They fade in the background. But when something goes wrong, nasaan si IT? Unang sigaw, di ba?
Correct. So, visibility in terms of accomplishment, optics, that's very important, I guess, when you're working in a large organization. But also yung discernment on things and decision. Yeah. Okay, Docs. So, unang question pa lang. So, ito pa isa maganda. Headcount and resourcing. May nagtanong sa akin is, why is it easier to approve a multi-million peso tool than one badly needed FTE? Care, you wanna, expound and tell us if this is true, or how does, you feel about it, or people feel about it?
Tools.
Tools versus FTE.
There are several organizations na nakausap ko. It really depends on budget. Some of them, diba, we have people, process, technology. For me, it's also a level of importance. People, process, technology. There are organizations ang inikot nila. Nauna yung technology, process, then people. So it really depends on the priority of organization as well as the budget at yung familiarity nila dun sa realm na yun, sa domain na yun. So that being said, for me, people should take priority over the tools. Kasi yung mga tools pwede naman magbago yan over time. But yung skill set at dependability of those people that you have within your organization is more important than the technology. There are organizations who would want to stick to one flavor of technology diba, Sir Abet, they would tend to stick to one. There are organizations naman that would like to have different flavors so that they have different layers of defense. But bottom line is you have to open up an avenue for people to explore the technology, learn from the technology, at maximize yung tool. Before, up until now, I'm always preaching mga tools na yan or technology, tulong lang yan. But you yourself should be the expert so that you can also recommend, kunyari kay Sir Carlo, you can recommend that this is the better technology for this situation because agnostic ka, hindi ka nakadepend sa technology. You know what technology suits for that situation.
Well, a couple of things stand out from your comments, Kerr. Number one, Carlos parang ready na to sa promotion kasi tama yung unang sagot niya, budget eh. Pwede na. Pangalawa, prioritizing technology over everything else. Di ba AI yun? Parang yun ang AI ngayon. No? AI is like prioritizing AI over everything else. And that other particular instance, yung, you know, some are comfortable kasi with what they're using, di ba? I don't know, they're using this tool. A thought comes to mind. The usual old school saying na, if it's not broken, why fix it? Diba? But you're absolutely right. There has to be a room for improvement. I guess we need to be open more into technologies. So not jumping and then, the whole or giving it a whole kahuna or kitchen sink into going to that technology. But you're right, a certain amount of exploration should be encouraged, actually.
Yes. I also observed that several organizations that they would buy a technology and then that technology para siyang magiging isang porcelain na kung ano yung na-deploy, yun lang yung gagalawin. Do not tinker with it. But ang nawawala naman dun is yung familiarity and know-how on the advancement of the technology. So minsan nangyayari kung ano yung dineploy ng vendor from day 1 to year 5, halos ganun pa rin yung configuration. Sayang.
I understand that. Daming features na hindi tina-turn on, no? Because yun lang yung function iniisip. So many things in our heads. Carlos, would you want to share some of them?
This is the ironic part. We're on a technology platform. We're on information security and everything. Let me tell you one thing. Not any one of the frameworks ever created talks about the number of people you need to defend yourself. Ironic, isn't it?
Yes.
You have
absolutely.
NIST, you have everything, but I mean, even in bare minimum compliance, what do we see? You need a CISO. And what army? Diba?
It doesn't say.
doesn't say.
I've been to organizations na CISO, tapos dalawa lang tao mo doing everything.
You have to realize it's because how it was the perception. Technology can only be solved with a technology tool, which is strange. Because if you go back to even the early days of computing, it was always people who were solving problems. Technology is there as something to solve. And people keep on harping about AI. AI is a good way to increase security. Yes, it's true. But who was the one who put the prompt? It
That's
wasn't AI.
Who coded the codes, diba?
True. Yes. Yun yung pinaka thing na most people overlook.
That's a very, very good point. We had an exercise before in my previous life na we used to do this capacity measurement form something. Ito number ng tao. Ito yung tao ngayon. This is what they're doing currently. This is the amount of time they spend in it. And this is my justification for getting more people. But, as like what you said, ironically, even if you have the facts up there, up front your face, in front of your face. There seems to be some lack of understanding and appreciation. People are more important than tools, ladies and gentlemen. I guess that's a bottom line you want to say there. Kerr, want to chime in?
Uh, Probably one of my realization nung pumunta ka ng Bohol. Sabi, ang ganda ng Bohol ah. What if dito na ako mag-build ng career ko? And then as I was looking for buildings, usually buildings are signs of a development for corporate life, di ba? Sabi ko, doon ko na-realize na ang cybersecurity is a luxury career. It's a luxury career. Hindi ka basta-basta makakapunta ng cybersecurity unless the company has the budget for building cybersecurity. And building cybersecurity also means they have strong technology. So, that also means that they have budget. So, budget also, you have to prioritize, really, for me, the balance between talent and technology. Yung dalawa na yun. The expert should have the first voice over the technology.
Agreed. Well, you have a point. It's a luxury technology, but also, diba, because we're serious about security, we're serious about data privacy. So there were laws made, diba, para sa ayon sa gusto mo maglagay ka ng controls to mitigate data leaks, i.e. data privacy. There's also tatawa si Carlos dito, frameworks that allows you to put security controls na off the shelf yung mga products, diba? There's so many ways to do that, but I guess you're right, Kerr. If you want the best tools and the best learnings, syempre, there's a premium on those best tools. So that's actually one way to look at it. And don't worry, marami din sa aming nangarap na magtayo ng karir sa Boracay or somewhere else. But mukhang ang kakalagpakan ko doon is just IT, computer repair shop or
mostly
cellphone repair shop,
no?
Diba?
Para sure, no?
Correct. or tattoo shop. Ayan. Okay. Moving on, ito naman yung interaction natin with the risk management group, with the people who are categorizing the risk. So risk, we call this the risk appetite and the decision disconnects. So this hopefully, our goal is to reveal the risk decisions affecting the trenches. And the question that I got was, how does leadership define acceptable risk when the people absorbing the consequences are not in the room? May follow-up pa question siya. Do executives truly understand the operational cost of the risk that they sign off on? Another very, very touchy question. So I'll go first with the CISO. Carlos, what do you think?
Well, the biggest risk actually is always to violate any law. The laws was placed there for prudential behavior for any organization. It wasn't meant there to make it hard for anybody, although it does have that effect. But the idea is there is an acceptable behavior. And this acceptable behavior also translates to how much you accept what type of risk. Okay, parang if you think about it, I'm sure the executives who built that, or the people who built that 9-story thing in Pampanga was thinking of different risks, right?
Right.
Pero you have to know, and you have to. That's our role. We have to let them know the entire spectrum of risk that is going to affect them. If we don't give them that spectrum of risk, then we are negligent ourselves. Because
Mm.
they're thinking in a vacuum na wala naman talaga ibang risk. Okay lang,
Mm.
tanggapin na natin. But
Mm.
that's not the right. In some ways, it can be partly, but it's not
Mhm.
all.
Mm.
I cannot say it's all our fault, but
Mm.
you have to raise it. If you did not, parang kumbaga, di ba, kung pag sa kasal, di ba, anong sinasabi? Forever hold your peace, naman speak out, or else forever hold your peace. Ganon din, di ba?
Oh, wala nang
So you
ganun,
have to
Carlos. Eh. Ano na lang, marriage bans na lang ginagawa. Piniprint na lang sa dyaryo ngayon. Na, kasi ina-avoid nila na may
kasi
magreklamo during the wedding. Anyway, sorry.
totoo yun.
Di ba?
O, kaya nga, di ba, bond or pinopost sa mga simbahan, di ba?
That's true.
But,
That's true.
but
That's
that's
true.
the reality.
Hmm.
You have to let them decide. It is not in your place to decide, but it is in your place to tell them all
Hmm.
the aspects of the risk.
Mhm. Mhm. Good point. Good point. But, you know, I mean, because we, I guess we should have added one more guest for another industry. But because we came from banks, right? The pros and cons is that it's a regulated industry, right? So, you know, whether we like it or not, we must follow the BSP rules, the prescriptions, which is good, you know, because even if it has to be allocated within the budget one, right? You have to do it or else or else. And but sometimes, like, you know, from a previous life, it's like uh the BSP tells the CISO should be the IT risk manager of the organization, correct? And you know, IT risk manager of the organization, security infosec at least, means that you have to strike a balance between, you know, between the controls you're doing and the risk it poses, and of course, usability, di ba? You know, more controls equals inversely proportional to usability. So and then I got my boss told me like, no, that's not your job. What's my job then? So sometimes, you know, you get confused on what really uh, is the exact role in terms of, you know, assessing risk and risk appetite. Um, I guess it all depends on the relationships and the, how do you call it, the ecosystem that is prevailing in the organization. Anywho's, Kerr, let's hear your thoughts on your side of the fence.
Most of the time, we, the ones who do the analysis and monitors things,
Hmm.
are not clear about what's the risk appetite of an organization. Most of the time, it's not
Hmm.
communicated. Probably because, is it also clear up there, uh, how, what are the risks that is acceptable to them, or probably ang nangyayari is case to case basis. If something happened, dun natin alamin kung ano yung risk appetite natin. That can also be a probability. Then that's one thing, no? Then second is, nabanggit ni Sir Carlos about communicating, being transparent about everything that you see during the incident, diba?
Mhm.
But sometimes, bago umabot sa pinakamataas yung isang report, maraming dadaanan yan. At for each reviewer of that report, merong natatapyas na info doon eh. So, ang nagiging problem minsan is yung transparency of what really has been seen downstairs, ano yung mga details nun. At minsan kasi may mga perception na, ay, hindi, yung info na yan, masyadong detailed na yan, hindi na yan magkakaroon ng appreciation sa taas. So, umaabot sa punto na, ano na lang yung report na umabot sa taas, at ano na lang yung naging understanding ng executives on the security incident that happened. So that's also one thing that I have observed when cascading a report from our part going up, na making it simplified to a point na ang question is, are we also educating the executives about security? Because security is also a niche language. I also hope that moving forward, as cybersecurity grow and as organization appreciate security, they also learn the language of cybersecurity and also the appreciation of cybersecurity.
I have some thoughts, but I wanna have Carlos have a go at it first.
Oh, about risk. Well,
Mhm.
okay, risk. You're not there to be the boogeyman that scares everybody.
Mhm.
I think the best way to approach it is risk has to be a partner to everybody. Because if you're not that partner, don't have that partnership, you will always be viewed as yun, ano ba yun? Minsan, ano sabi ko, the most hated groups, minsan, di ba?
Department of
Audit,
No.
risk,
Department of No.
compliance. Di ba, mga gano'n, di ba kaya? Talagang ano, parang, uy, dumating doon ka audit. Okay, it's ano, tas risk na dito na. So, but we have to view it as a way, how we work with them, and that's very important because
Mm.
what we're there is the right word is actually guidance. We're
Yep.
providing guidance, and you don't want the parang sometimes you don't want it to everybody did everything already, and in the end, oh, no, because you did not think of this in the first place. Diba, it's not fair in also in their effort, diba?
Mm.
So that's why I think they have to view risk as a partner and as a uh, kasi hand in hand yan eh. Parang my term is, bakit kung nagpumalpak yan, sa tingin mo, sasabihin niya, ay, itong department ang nagpalpak. Hindi, the whole organization suffers. So that's why I think that should be the frame of mind a lot of people should have.
Okay, your both of your inputs actually hits on to something. No, Kara was saying, we blew our horn, we sounded the alarm, but somehow when it goes up the chain, it kind of gets sanitized. But then Carlos said, it's not really being sanitized. But he's absolutely right because the technical side has a different understanding of risk than the business side has the understanding of risk, diba? What might be critical to you is not critical to that side. And here's where Carlos makes a point on talking together. And I guess, maybe a good output would be a type of risk leveling or risk measurement that you both agree upon, or at least kahit magkaiba, if it's a separate risk scoring, but there should be a way to calculate, what's the overall risk for the organization. But having also care side, yes, I think some effort also is needed, no, on the side of business to understand it naman. But yeah, those 2 points actually made that a great observation and great discovery on that part. Galing. Those are the realizations that we really, really need to ferret out. So much about risk. Bukas we'll get a call from risk management. And says, usap tayo. Okay, moving to another hot topic on the things left unsaid is about burnout, culture, and psychological safety. Burnout, psychological safety. Ano nga yun? Mind, wellness. Ayan. Mental health. Question. Oh, this is a good question. Remember, guys, diba? Remember pag nag-apply kayo, when you apply, there you have your job description, and the end of the job description is that anything else that your boss would want you to do or else would want you to do. And then, they don't write it there, but then when you get the interview, sometimes you get a lot of work over the weekend. Are you willing to work over the weekend or after office hours? So the question is, may sidebar pa. Why is alert fatigue treated as a personal weakness instead of a system failure? Care, this is you gotta have nice inputs for that question.
Okay. Alert fatigue. I think it should not be a problem now. In the age of AI. I think yan yung isang malaking magiging contribution ng AI sa alert fatigue. And even when I was with my previous company, I have this vision that siguro in simple terms, kapag may case na dumating sa akin, kapag na-experience ko na yun, dapat hindi na umulit-ulit. So there's something dapat may interaction may learning between the platform and the user. I think dun papasok yung AI wherein it can really help develop the person as well as lower down yung alert fatigue. So ang mangyari is if I already encountered this incident or this alert, the platform should already recognize na kapag nangyari ulit yung alert na to at ganito yung naging behavior or naging action, wag na siya maulit. Ang papasok na lang sa akin is something that is something that I don't know. So yun yung aspiration that hopefully a platform one day would have a good augmentation between the analyst and the alerts. But for current situation, yes, it happens na masyadong maraming alerts at ang typically nangyari kasi is for alerts especially sa client side, no, ang nangyari is paulit-ulit at yung mga low tier alerts yung nangyayari. So at some point nagiging boring, and boredom minsan sometimes translate to burnout na wala na bang ibang challenges that happens. That's why, as I said, AI really would help in this realm because analysts on the technical side, they want challenges. But if the alert keeps coming in on the same type, it will become boring. Parang ano na gagawin ko dito? Paulit-ulit na lang to.
Actually, I saw analysts did this particular thing. So paulit-ulit nga, di ba? Alert na alert. Wala na lang. Inignore na lang. Inignore na lang tapos hindi na lang pinapansin kahit ano mangyari. So I totally understand that. But I think Carlos would agree. That time you're talking about, the tools are already here in terms of SIEM, di ba, Carlos?
Correct. I agree with her. Even with SIEM, if you don't bother, alam mo, all of these are front-loaded activities. You have to do a lot of things at the beginning. Kung hindi, you just feed it all the logs.
Gotcha.
Pero yeah, I think the reason why you have a perception of saying it's a personal issue, it's a, how would you say it? It's a perception issue. Think about it this way. I remember a friend of mine. He's a graphic artist. So during the time slow ang computers, so he's able to click and run the program, go to the kitchen, make coffee, and come back just in time for the program to start. Now he said, he just clicked it and it ran. And then what happened? He couldn't even get out of his seat. And same also the industry. To be honest, the fastest typer in the past, in a typewriter, is as fast as anybody typing in a computer today. Pero they have to get the paper, put it in, and have a break, right? So we expect.
Yes, Carlos, I remember those days of my term paper. Yes, thank you for.
But it provides a break, and even people. The thing is, people have a natural. You need a tiny break, as it's proven. You can read through an entire electron ebook, but you absorb more if you are taking a paper paper book, because every time you flip the page, it gives you enough time to process what you've read.
And there's
But
a tactile response that elicits some impulses in the brain, I believe. Yeah.
yes, and it's because we think that since it's faster to insert the paper, in case of typewriting, everything must be better, right? We capture more alerts, then people must keep up, which is actually not the right way of thinking. It's a perception issue.
I see. Great. Okay, docs. Whew. So much to uncover in such short little time. Compliance versus real security. Oh, good one
Oh,
again.
favorite ka to.
Why do we prioritize passing audits over fixing vulnerabilities that the audits reveal? Sige, let's start with you, Carp, first.
Yeah, I have love-hate na ano ko dyan, isa sa mga pet peeves ko pag may presentation. At ang first bullet na nakalagay, why we have to do this is because of compliance. We have to have DLP because compliance. Rationale, justification, first bullet, compliance. But for me, we have to strip the compliance part and understand ano ba yung spirit or ano ba yung gustong isolve nung compliance na yan. Hindi naman yan nilagay ng BSP or ng compliance because of ni-require lang nila. May background yan bakit important yun.
May purpose siya.
May purpose, may general purpose bakit siya nandyan. At I would want for them to be a little bit more creative on why ano yung first justification na pwede nyo ilagay na hindi related sa compliance. But yan yung first perspective ko. But on answering directly your question, the reason or the purpose of having BSP or regulators putting it as part of the requirements for institutions is parang seatbelt yan sa kotse. It's for most people it's uncomfortable to put a seatbelt. Nilagay nila sa batas na they put it in the law as part of your requirements as a driver. You have to put in your seatbelt or may fine siya. Pero ang purpose kasi nun is for your safety. Di ba? So for each compliant requirements is may purpose for vulnerabilities is for you not to be hacked. At for banks, kapag na-hack sila, at sabay, kunyari, let's say worst case situation, lahat tayo sabay-sabay na na-hack. Paano yung economy ng Philippines? It will really break. So yan yung I think yan yung key takeaway is the compliance serves a purpose. At the purpose, we have to understand it so that we have a better appreciation for each day that we scan and patch. There's a purpose for it.
And I think the ultimate goal of regulations is not actually for the institutions but for the people, the clients, in our case the depositor safety, diba? Carlos, your view.
Well, not to say anything, I mean, think about it this way. The problem is when we read it, you read the compliance, I read the compliance, compliance people read the compliance, audit people read the compliance.
I would think so, yes.
Everything will be different. Their view and your view and his view will be different. You know why? Very simple. How was it written? It was written in a what you call this finely worded manner because they don't want to have that exact thing you need to do. So parang, di ba parang if everything is dictated, I mean, given the example of her.
Carlos, the term you're looking for is prescriptive. Ayan. Prescriptive yung pagkakasulat.
It does not give you parang it gives you space to innovate. But the problem is sometimes when we read it, sometimes we forget the word may. the word may ano ba, may implement
Mm.
such as. The word is
Mm.
such as is very wide. Di ba? So we have to, I think it's still again the same. We have to collaborate both sides.
Mhm.
Kasi if they look at it in a wording format, but what you're looking at it, the real
Right.
impact to our actions. And
Mm.
of course, their view is to go for minimum compliance. You and I know that is the surefire recipe for disaster. Di ba?
Pwede na you tick the box, di ba? Okay na, minimum compliance. Eh.
Mm.
Eh,
I mean, you could do that. You could
uh,
still wear a fig leaf, but
uh.
I don't think you can go out.
But you sold okay. Yeah, it's not the this actually reminds me. You mentioned frameworks and standards. This is actually the exact reason why I prefer the critical controls over the high the library of other frameworks. Because for critical controls, it tells you exactly what technology you have to do and what it answers. No? I mean, NISC is great, of course. ISO is great, but because of that leeway you're talking about, parang there's a great distance between this and this, and what am I going to implement? So sometimes you overthink, di ba? Sometimes it's too broad, or sometimes you're absolutely correct. There's misinterpretation because of the broadness, and that's really really a good point. Kerr, your take.
Oh, yeah. Tama. I also agree with Sir Carlo. As he stated those things, doon ko rin napagtanto na, yeah, probably they have different teams would have different interpretations. As a security practitioner, I would have a bias on a stricter control for the organization and for the customer as well. But yeah, may tendencies nga na they would have different interpretation. Hence, the role of a CISO would be really critical to balance out ano yung perspective from different teams. Kunyari, on our part, we would have a more stricter view on implementing those compliant items, but some other teams would have different views. Then dun papasok yung mga roles nyo, Sir Abet, Sir Carlo, to give guidance and yung tamang balance between what should be implemented.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
I think,
thank you,
yeah.
thank you. So thank you. At this juncture, I'd like to thank all the people who had sent their questions. Hindi ko po hinugot sa ere yun. Those were questions from the field. So, real life questions. And we're wow, that's a alam mo time flew, right? I mean,
I didn't notice it also.
I didn't
5:30,
know
53
I
minutes
didn't
na.
notice almost 9. Yeah. So so okay, so we have a section called the sandbox. No? The sandbox is that, yeah, it's for you guys, no. If you were a vendor, it's a free 90-second pitch. So, but you're not, obviously not vendor. So, you can tell us, or ask the audience or whomever, what you're up to, what you're espousing. Do you have any non-work related things that you need to I don't know, announce or invite people to? Meron ba?
Mm. Who
Hmm.
goes first? Yeah.
You
Sige,
first.
Kerr, go ahead, Kerr.
Actually,
Okay.
kala ko marami pang questions eh. Medyo nakakabitin
Hmm.
pala yung 1 hour.
I know,
But
I
for the
know.
segment, for those who are uh, wanting to look for DFIR services that is cheaper, you can contact Sir Abet through, and then reach out to me. I'm also trying to reach out to some organizations as for shadow DFIR. So we have that service. Me and my team I have teams who are experienced in malware analysis, DFIR. So, andyan yung team ko, they handle those. They have vast experience with it. They can help you with your DFIR concerns, and sila Gian, sila Edmark, Laurent, they can help out with these items. And
Okay.
shameless plug.
Thank you, Kerr. Ayan, una mo kliyente si Carlos. Kasi nabanggit mo yung magic word mura daw but the same quality. So,
Yeah.
Carlos, anything to plug SPAW support? Kahit hindi IT related, kahit hindi work related, May meeting ka ba ng barangay council or homeowners association?
Well, I guess for a lot of organizations, I guess we've been hearing a lot that there's not enough qualified people and everything, right?
That's the headline, di ba? Parang everywhere it says there's so many information security jobs needed somewhere, di ba? There's a lack of information security professionals. Sige nga, Carlos. What's your conclusion to that?
My conclusion to that: have faith in your people. Sometimes it's a surprising thing. There are some who are not IT related, but they become very excellent IT security professionals. That's the idea of having somebody trained and canned. Parang yung nagsasabi sila, what's the perfect AI? How long does it take to make the perfect AI? Steve Wozniak's answer is 9 months, right? But for our side, man, have faith in your people, train them, put them in situations to empower them. You may be pleasantly surprised how much talent you have. Kasi nga, di ba, Filipinos are really, really talented. Just that we're not given that much opportunity sometimes due to bias and sometimes due to logic or worst comes to worst, AI.
Perception.
Yung course, maling course yan, AI automatically, tanggal na yung CV niya. Parang, won't even try the person.
Right.
Diba?
That's true.
So I guess that's where we can solve our problems on shortage.
Kasi daw, Carlos, may alphabet soup pagkatapos ng apelido yung pangalan ng tao. Kaya, pero you know what? Classic example, and I've seen I exactly saw what you're trying to say. I have a very, very good penetration tester who was a nursing graduate.
Oh, diba?
Diba?
They did a different penetration first.
Okay. Baka mabanta.
Injection ka muna.
Injection. So this whole discussion we've been talking about in this hour is actually leading to this point, diba? I mean, the human factor, the person, diba? People still tops and should be given more attention to than your tools and your processes, right?
Yeah, I know people as well, graduate sila ng math, applied math, economics, and then they become a very, very nasa research level sila ng cybersecurity. Yeah, they're very good.
Even seen mga EA became CIO, so okay. Diba?
Yep, true. This is true story, and you know who you are. She was a barista at Starbucks. Now she heads information security audit. Right? You'll never know. So bottom line, you should give everybody a chance. It's not all in the resume. Actually, it's not even in interviews. Actually, but you really need to try them out. I got into several interviews, and they say, the usual question, Carlos, di ba? You're only 1 year from this company. How long do you think you will last in this company? Sabi niya. That's the question. Yeah. So my reply is, are you married? So, yeah, yes. So sabi, you never really knew your wife until you live together. Di ba?
I have the no, I have the consistency of a cockroach. No matter how you do, I'll never die.
That's one way to put it. That's one way to put it. Okay, folks. Again, time really flew. It's time for the core dump. This is our where we extract the high density wisdom. In short, this is the final words of wisdom from our guests. Let's start off with Kerr, and then we move to Carlos, and then we'll proceed with our shutdown sequence after that. Kerr, what
Okay.
do you want to impart to our audience tonight?
So for analysts, as mentioned by Sir Carlo, for those people who also I have encountered, uh, it doesn't really matter where you come from. Yan yung at least for the community of cybersecurity, I met a lot of people, and most people I met working on cybersecurity are very passionate about security. Just keep moving forward. There's a lot of opportunities in cybersecurity. Do your work. Learn the red and the blue, so that it will be better for your as you move forward. As well as learn the business. I mean, the organization that you're working for. Ano yung mga what are they particular with? Ano yung priorities nila? Be attentive, especially kapag may town hall. At ano yung mga particular items that they prioritize, and then align yourself with those priorities. So work on yourself, align with the greater goal, greater alignment with the organization. For sure, you'll go far with it.
Thank you, Kerr. That was great. Carlos, the
Uh,
words the words of wisdom from Mr. Carlos Tenkiat.
Abandon all hope. There are-
abandon all hope, ye who enters here.
I mean, I guess the thing I like to highlight for any and everybody who may go into cybersecurity or look at their own organization, know that it's a multi-year journey for any organization to become secure. But it doesn't mean you have to stay where you are just because it takes multi-years. You always remember you may not have the tools now. You can put in the process. You can teach the people. So it's something that can be achieved by any organization. How fast they get there, it depends on, I guess, lots of factors. But let's not let's not give up hope that we can achieve cybersecurity in where we are.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Carlos and Kerr, maraming salamat po. Thank you sa pagpapaunlak. I know it's a pain to have an 8 p.m. show while you just came from work. I'm sure you're all hungry. I don't know if you had dinner yet. I certainly did not. But again, maraming salamat po. Carlos Tengyat, our resident CISO for tonight. Kerr Ang, our DFIR manager. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And to everybody to have a good night. Thank you, Kerr. Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. So with that, we're powering down as usual. Stay curious, stay human, keep your wisdom evolving. Abet de la Cruz po, signing out. Good night and have a pleasant Tuesday, whatever left of Tuesday. And get ready for Hump Day tomorrow. Salamat po. Good night, everyone. Thank you.